I would once again request all of you to kindly take the seat. We are starting the session. We have to be in time. May I request Vishwaprasad ji Alva to be near the stage? Our speaker, Shri Vishwaprasad Alva ji. Once again, a humble request to kindly take the seat. We're starting the session soon. Namaste. Now we are here with the session number 4, and the session is Healthcare Innovation, MedTech and Medical Tourism. This session is going to be chaired by Dr. Ajay Murdia, Chairman, Founder, Indira IVF Bharat. Our other eminent speakers, Shri Vishwaprasad Alva, Founder, MD and CEO, Skanray Technologies Limited. He'll be speaking on advancements in medtech and opportunity in manufacturing. May I request Vishwaprasad Alva ji to kindly come on the stage. Our next speaker, Dr. Upendra Mahato, Chairman, Nepal Mediciti Hospital, Nepal. And the topic is Cost-Effective Health Infrastructure and Delivery. Dr. Upendra Mahato, please. Welcome, Doctor. Our other eminent speaker, Shri Madhusudhan Chauhan, CEO and Director, Jiva Ayurveda, Bharat. And the topic is Medical Tourism and Ayurveda. Welcome, Dr. Saab. And Dr. Ajay Murdia, our chairman, would be speaking on the access of healthcare at your doorstep and opportunity. And this session will be followed by Q&A. Thank you, welcome, and over to you, Dr. Saab. Thank you. Yeah, I request Dr. Saab to take over the proceedings, and I also request Shri Vishwaprasad Alva wherever he is to come soon on the dais. Thank you.
Namaste. Jai Shri Ram. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed speakers and respected delegates, good morning. I am truly honored to stand before you today as the chairperson of this session on healthcare innovation, medical technology, and medical tourism in Bharat. Bharat, with its rich history and diverse cultural heritage, is rapidly emerging as a global hub for medical tourism. Our country's healthcare sector is witnessing a surge in international patients seeking high-quality medical services coupled with cultural experiences and holistic wellness. Healthcare is not merely a sector, it is a cornerstone of societal well-being and progress. The fusion of technology and medicine has given rise to a new era, one where the boundaries of what was once deemed impossible are continually pushed. Medical technology, with its strides in artificial intelligence, robotics, and data analytics, is revolutionizing diagnostic, treatment, and patient care, from precision medicine to wearable devices. The synergy between technology and healthcare is reshaping the way we approach wellness. Throughout the course of this session, we'll hear from experts and thought leaders who are at the forefront of healthcare innovation. I encourage each one of you to actively participate, share your insights, and engage in meaningful conversation that will shape the future of healthcare in our nation. In our effort of exploration and discovery, let's uphold collaboration, inclusivity, and excellence. Together we can drive Bharat's healthcare innovation to new global heights. Thank you, and let the session on healthcare innovation, medical technology, and medical tourism, Bharat, begins. And I first invite Shri Upendra Mahato. He is the chairman, Nepal Mediciti Hospital, Nepal, and he will speak on cost-effective health infrastructure and delivery. Mr. Mahato, please.
Dear friends, Nepal lies between Bharat and China. It looks very small country because of population of the Bharat and China, but it is not so small. The population of Nepal is 30 million. Nepal stands on 50th largest country of the world. Nepal is very unique country. We have more than 80% population is Hindus. Nepal has on state calendar Bikram Sambat 2080. Shape of the Nepali flag is triangle. Only one country with that shape of the flag. Moon is higher than sun. It symbolizes that Nepal is peace-loving country. 2/3 territory of Nepal is mountain. God has given much more time to create this country on this earth. Why all these things I am telling to you? Just to remind you that Nepal is the best place for healing. After coronavirus pandemic, each country should be self-sufficient in healthcare system with their own infrastructures, technology, manpower. Now, if according to WHO, in hospital bed numbers for 1,000 population, India stands on 160 globally with 0.9 beds per 1,000 people. Nepal stands on 189th with 0.2 beds per 1,000 people. So we can see from this how much potential to make investment in the health sector for all developing countries. Seva hi dharma hai. It means to make investment in the health sector, to work in the health sector is the service and dharma two in one. So all Hindus should make investment in Nepal healthcare system because more than 80% population is Hindus. So if you are making investment in health sector in Nepal, you are automatically popularizing Hinduism dharma in the world. Nepal can be best place for healing, as I told, that because the most highest concentration of the nature and spirituality is in Nepal. So we should just make it globalization. And making Nepal as an international medical hub, we all are working for the popularization of Hindu dharma in this world. Dear friends, Nepalese are facing big problem, big challenge just to hold our talents, medical talents, nurses, medical doctors, who are very well trained, and Nepalese are known as a very honest, very laborious, very disciplined manpower in the world. So all developed countries, they are taking from developing countries, especially from Nepal, all this talent manpower with the highest salary. So this is big challenge for us to hold them in our own country. And for that, we need huge investment in healthcare system, not just to make the buildings of the hospitals, to train well-trained manpower in our own country. So for any cost-effective infrastructures, other things, we can talk a lot, but health sector is very huge. It needs very huge investment for the long term. So only the investment with the low-cost funding, we can make our healthcare system more effective, more smart, because paying capacity of developing countries, and especially Nepal, even in India, in Bharat, also very low. So we have to give the service at world standard level, but the payment will be in our own local level. So if we will be also very expensive, then how we can stop to our people to go abroad? So we should think about our healthcare system. After pandemic, we know that if even you are very rich, but if healthcare system in your doorstep, your country is not very good, you cannot be survived. And why we are not caring for our life, our health care system? Because God has given our life free of cost. We don't need to pay for that. Even we are buying a smartphone, just after buying, we are keeping both sides, protecting screens. When we are buying homes, vehicles, running for insurance. But for ourselves, most of the population in developing countries are not insured. So government should make the mandatory insurance policy for that. So if our life is given one time, so if we are not caring for ourselves, if we are not healthy, there will be no any harmony in the society. There will be no harmony in family. So to be harmonized society, to make service, to give, to be involved in dharma, we should be very active, involved in healthcare system. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mahato. And now I invite Mr. Vishwaprasad Alva ji, and he will be speaking on advancements in medical technology and opportunity in manufacturing.
Good morning to all of you. Just set my. Is this one? Yeah, I'll just go to the topic. There are three things that we want to cover: opportunities in medtech, a case study, and what are the challenges in the industry. So. Coming to this, what we call as medtech is electromechanical medical equipment, which is in the diagnostic space and curing space. So here we have CTs, MRIs, cath labs, ICU equipment, surgery equipments. In medtech definition, you also have consumables. You have got implants like stents and certain things that are into the body. But here the scope is only to talk about electromechanical, imaging and critical care devices. So if you see the global market, it's about $150 billion. And there are only about 8 countries in the world that have this medtech. So when we compare our industry to the rest of the world and including China, because this is very low volume, high complexity, there are Chinese also are not able to compete, because when the volumes are very high, they are able to bring a great price advantage to these products. If you take Europe, they have about 80% of the equipment cost coming out of R&D investments, investment in infrastructure, maintenance of the equipment, distribution, whereas only 20 to 30% of the cost is for the real material that is going into the equipment. In India, we have an advantage where we have our R&D cost almost 80% lower than that of Europe, Americas and Japan. And then we have manufacturing costs about 60% lower. So net, the same equipment made in different countries, we are one of the best in the world, and even we are almost half of what China can produce. Now here, because of the growing cover coming under health, it is growing at the rate of 20 to 30%. During the pandemic, we have a different kind of growth, but rest of the time, the growth is extremely high and one of the fastest growing sectors in the world. And that's where we think that there's a great opportunity for India to be in this space. I'll just skip some of them. So cost advantage, I said we are in R&D and NPD investments. Raw materials, we are slightly lower because semiconductors come from outside. Metal prices are almost the same world over. And engineering, when it comes to product engineering, installed base management, V&V is verification and validation, which is a big part of medical equipment, because testing, certification, verification and validation is very, very critical in medical devices because of the nature that they are, on a live human being. So this cost also, you see that there's a very significant difference between what Bharat can offer and what the rest of the countries are offering. And as I said, there are only about 8 countries, 190 countries, 8 are producing, 180 countries are importing medical equipment. In the late 90s, when globalization happened, India and China were getting into the medtech space together. But today, we have China almost 20 times bigger than India. And after the pandemic, the interest in India for medtech is increasing, and a lot of companies are moving again into India for manufacturing and R&D. So this is what I call as a technology gap. We have X-rays made in India. We have MRI capabilities for certain subsystems. In PET scanners, we have certain capabilities and missing certain capabilities. So there is not, there are some things that, for example, the ones that you see here, we have most of them that can be manufactured in India, designed in India, about 80% of domestic content. But when it comes to magnets, when it comes to PET, we still are dependent on Europe. But in the next 10 years, there is always a possibility that we can get to at least taking about 10 to 15% of the international trade. I'll just skip. Yeah, this is now coming to what the government of India has done is they brought medtech under the sunshine sectors, or where they say that is critical to the economy. But what happens when government looks at an industry is it also creates problems. So then they start regulating. If you take everywhere else in the world, you have one regulatory body. In USA, you have FDA, CE, TGA, KGMP, JPL, CFDA in China. But when it comes to India, we have got 23 regulatory bodies. So this is what I was saying. I was expecting some policy, makers in this forum. But I'm anyway for the knowledge of people who are here. So prior to this government, we had no regulatory bodies. You could simply buy equipment from anywhere, put it directly in the hospital. Now the government of India did a good thing by saying that you have to make sure that the equipment are compliant and safe. So instead of bringing one body, they brought 23 bodies, and all these bodies are working at cross purposes. And that's why I said it's a big challenge to enter when there are too many regulatory bodies and no, they don't have any responsibility to make the industry succeed. So you have legal metrology, which, and one of the things that the government of India did is put pharmaceuticals and medical technology together. So when pharma standards are pushed into medtech, in pharma you ask how many milligrams of each substance is there. So they are asking us to write grams of CT and grams of MRI, the legal metrology. And we say, no, it's not in grams, it is, tons. Then they say, oh, you write tons. It's not the question of whether we can write or no. It is waste of time. So this is something that is hurting the industry. The government is working, unlike in the past, they come on time for the meetings, they listen. But execution, we have a lot more to do. But if it is done, this is one of the best sectors to be. And I think we can seed at least about 200 to 300 startups and clicking very fast in this sector. Now, this is what you can see. This is the regulatory structure that we wanted to propose to the government. I have also been the chairman of FICCI, National Committee, and working with the central government. But again, we are a little bit stuck with the bureaucracy. And so we also have Indian labs. There are no test facilities. We have built the first test facility in Mysore. And this is a story I wanted to give you a case study. So we started in 2012 as a startup. We made our first manufacturing there. In 2013, we acquired Larsen & Toubro's medical equipment business. Then we acquired Precol, CI Italy. We started manufacturing X-ray tubes. Today, from a team of 5 in 2012, 10, 11. We are a 800 member team. We have, we export to about 80 countries. We have got 8 plants. We have 3 units in Mysore. We have got 4 units in Italy. We have got in Brazil, Mexico, US, and China, which is not functioning. And this is possible for many other companies. Opportunity is very huge. There are topics that have to be covered, but I will, in the interest of time, I will just skip. So these things I will just move ahead because these are the units that we have worldwide. We have 34 FDA approved products, and we never made a product only for the Indian market. The first product we exported to US, we exported to Brazil, we exported to Kerala, we call, because it's a little bit different from the rest of the states. So, yeah, these I'll just skip. So this is the plant we built in 2010-12. There's a big story of this in the Wall Street Journal. You can read Bribes, Bureaucracy and Hobbles of Indian Entrepreneur. That's a full page article. So we have always made sure that we never cheated on tax. We never bribed. And whatever we build today is 100%, not 99.9%, 100% ethical to the customers, to the investors, and to the public. And yeah, this is the plant we acquired from Italy. These are X-ray tubes plant. This is a lab built by the government of India, and yeah, I just put an alarm to make sure I don't cross the time. So I will just skip. So these are all the products we make here. Again, this Skanray Venus, we set up an R&D facility in Italy, which which is designing this. So there's a mix of Italian engineers, and so these are anesthesia workstations. This is a home care product, which is a mini hospital. If you buy them independently, it will cost at least about 25 lakhs, and we are making it in less than 4 lakhs. And it is also exported out of the country. So these are patient monitors. We make cardiology products. This is something we made for the US for sports injury. It's called PodScan, podiatry scanner. Dental. These are veterinary is a big business. This is a company we acquired about 6 months back. And yeah, we are also OEMs to several big brands. So when we are, you know, when we cross a certain level and we compete, a lot of MNCs stop their production and get to us. And that's it, I think. I'll have to close because there is no time. Thank you very much for...
Thank you, Mr. Alva. And the next speaker is Mr. Madhusudhan Chauhan, and he'll be speaking on medical tourism and Ayurveda.
So, namaskar. Very good afternoon to everybody present in the hall. Before I get into my presentation, a quick show of hands. How many of us have relied on Ayurveda for any of our health ailments, problems, chronic problems? I think I rarely see any hand which is not raised. So thank you very much. I think it's a telling story of the role Ayurveda and yoga has played in keeping all of us healthy, happy, not just in our bodies, but in our minds and spirits. And that in itself is a testimony to the fact of the power and the role that Ayurveda can play in keeping us all healthy and happy and prosperous. The question now arises, can we translate this into an economic opportunity, and can we have the economic dividends of it come back to Bharat or not? I will refer in my presentation to a part of this topic specifically on medical tourism. Before I begin, I want to show this one chart, and I think this one chart shows the success of modern medicine that it has had, and the success parameter, if we were to sort of ask them how successful they've been. Over the last 100 years, we've almost doubled the global life expectancy. people are living from on an average of 30 years to 70 years. And that has happened on the back of reducing child immortality, reducing maternal immortality, reducing deaths caused by infections like malaria and so on and so forth, bacterial, viral infections, vaccination drives. All of that has led to the world living longer. And that, I think, is one of the biggest contributions that modern medicine has made. So what is the role and scope for Ayurveda if modern medicine is there, and the kind of advancements in technology and research and public outreach that it has made over the last 100 years? The problem is, while we are living longer, are we living healthier? So 20 years ago, we lived 50% of our lives in less than optimal health. Today, the percentage of lives that on an average an individual lives in less than optimal health is still 50%. This is a research done by the Global McKinsey Institute, and it says we're still living as suboptimally in our health as we were 20, 30 years ago. So we're living longer. Are we living healthier? We may have added years to the life. Have we added life to the years or not? And that is a telling problem to solve. If you see on the top right corner, those are the problems in health that will increase over the next 20 years. These are all non-communicable, chronic, degenerative lifestyle disorders. Diabetes, kidney, cancer, digestive disorders, cardiovascular disorders, musculoskeletal disorders. These are all the problems that the world will face, that the world will battle with. How prepared are we in the current scenario to handle it? The same McKinsey report sort of tabulates in the current given medical infrastructure, medical outreach, medical technology, the pharmaceuticals, and so on and so forth, how well prepared are we to handle it? So interestingly, all the disease sets that are going to increase at the fastest pace, we are the least equipped to handle them. And if you again take a look, most of them are chronic, degenerative, lifestyle disorders, and this is where Ayurveda comes in. Ayurveda as a system of medicine, as a system of health, is structured inherently, fundamentally in its DNA to better address the chronic lifestyle degenerative disorders, and this is the gap that Ayurveda can fulfill in the global healthcare need. Ayurveda as an industry, I mean, I'm sure when you picture of Ayurveda, the thing that comes to your mind is a, older person sitting in his chair, sometimes and most of the times in a broken setting, not a very upbeat scenario, so to say. Things are not like that anymore in Ayurveda. It is an organized, structured, growing sector in India, in Bharat today. One distinction that I want you all to make, because each country, I'm sure you come from all different parts of the world, each country has its own traditional system of medicine or traditional system of medical practice. Ayurveda differs from it. Medical practice is typically purely based on experiential healing. There are sangomas in Africa. There are traditional healers in South America. There are traditional healers in North America. Those healers are typically practicing by their healing powers, which are experiential, which are individual based, which are driven by intuition and experience, and not necessarily backed by logical, scientific structures and frameworks. Whereas Ayurveda differs in this part, and it has got its own pharmacology, pharmacognosy, its own anatomy, its own very systematic structure of approach it has to medicine. So it's a traditional medical science and not merely a traditional medical practice. And that's a distinction we must always remember and make. It's a well-regulated, structured, evolved sector. Thanks to the current government under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, a separate ministry for Ayush and Ayurveda was set up, and the way the sector has transformed in the last 8 to 9 years is just phenomenal. There are more than 3,000 Ayurveda hospitals that operate in the country today. Over 7 lakh registered Ayurvedic doctors, Ayush doctors, who undergo a similar level of training that a normal MBBS doctor does. The Ayush research portal, which the government has recently set up, has already gotten over 40,000 research publications published in peer-reviewed journals. It's a strong sector, it's a growing sector, it's a sunrise sector, and just in the last 6 years, it has grown 6-fold from being a $3 billion industry to an $18 billion industry. These numbers are still underrated. Medical tourism, we all know Bharat is a global hub already for medical tourism in the country today. It's a $7 billion industry growing at a 21% CAGR. Indian doctors, Bharatiya doctors worldwide, be it the USA, be it Europe, are recognized for their talent, for their medical acumen, and so on and so forth. I don't think that's something that needs to be established anymore. Bharat today is amongst the top 10 countries in medical tourism. When I say medical tourism, I'm also mostly referring to the modern medicine medical tourism, people traveling to Bharat for heart transplants, for kidney transplants, for cosmetology surgeries, for dermatology surgeries, for cardiac surgeries, and so on and so forth. This growth of Bharat has happened on the back of its quality of manpower and quality of medical infrastructure. Most of these tourists, however, that come for medical travel purposes to Bharat today, if you see, most of them are not the developed countries, US, Europe, Canada, so on and so forth. Half of the medical travel in Bharat today happens from Bangladesh. This being said, it's mostly because of lack of medical facilities or the lack of quality people trained to do the surgeries that are required, or also partly to do with the fact that waiting times sometimes are very long in their host countries. Ayurveda has another role to play here, and I think in the entire ecosystem for Bharat, Ayurveda can be the unique differentiator and add the value add to the entire sector of healthcare and not just Ayurveda itself. On the back of this quality of medical talent that Bharatiya has, not just in Ayurveda but in modern medicine as well, digital health and tech infrastructure of Bharat today, I think the world recognizes what Bharat has done with the CoWIN portal, with the Jan Dhan Aadhaar cards, the UPI payment interface. Just the sheer capacity of Bharat in the digital health infrastructure is immense. That is now being applied to the healthcare sector with the Ayushman Bharat digital mission coming into play, the Ayushman Bharat schemes coming into play. And obviously this unique strength of Bharat in the traditional medicine, which not many countries other than Bharat can sort of have as a unique differentiating advantage. If we were able to combine these three strong strengths that Bharat today has, I think we are in a very unique position, globally positioned, to provide a new healthcare paradigm to the world, which is not just affordable, accessible, but also creates sustainable health, where health is not just about surgeries and interventions, but health is about living healthier, happier, and longer. Through this integrative approach and a holistic approach, I think Bharat is able to solve and provide a solution for the chronic degenerative and lifestyle disorder problem and crisis that the world is going through. Bharat becomes a destination of choice when it comes to secondary and tertiary preventive care, attracting not just from countries which are developing, but developed countries for medical travel and wellness tourism. Tapping into the wellness economy of the world, which today is $7 trillion, a much, much larger economic opportunity for Bharat on the back of its strength of Ayurveda and yoga to tap into. And obviously this is only possible because of the tailwinds which are very positive and in favor of the sector. After setting up of the Ayush Ministry in 2014 by the current government and under the leadership of the Prime Minister, a Heal in India portal has been launched, which Ayurveda is part of it by default. Last year, Ayush visas, a specific category of visa was announced by the government. So people wanting to travel for Ayurveda, wellness and medical services are able to take use of this. More than 40 countries have set up Ayush information cells as part of the international missions. India, and I think this is something that the government gets a big round of applause for, bringing the world's first Global Center for Traditional Medicine of WHO is being set up in Bharat, This means immensely in terms of research, validity, acceptance with the global community for Ayurveda. With that, I think Ayurveda is a story of coming out of Bharat, not just in the medical sector, but in the larger healthcare sector. It is a growing sector. It is a sector which is attracting investments. Jiva Ayurveda, the organization that I represent, we are running the largest telemedicine healthcare facility in the world for Ayurveda. More than 35 countries, patients from these countries access Ayurveda through us. It's a remarkable story of how people are wanting to turn towards Ayurveda, and it is time that we provide strong research, science-driven Ayurveda to these people. The next 25 years, as termed by Prime Minister Modi, will be the Amrit Kal of Bharat, leading up to the 100 years of Bharat's independence. And Ayurveda, I believe, can be the Amrit Kalash of that Amrit Kal. With that, thank you very much. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya.
Thank you,
Dhanyavad.
Dr. Chauhan. Thank you. So you have heard all the three speakers, and lastly, in 2023, and in 2023, Bharat is poised to become a global leader in medical tourism, with patients from around the world seeking cost-effective and high-quality medical treatments ranging from complex surgeries to wellness therapies in Bharatiya healthcare facilities. This industry showcases the remarkable growth and advancement in Bharat's healthcare sector, the healing land that is Bharat. I'll be talking on access of healthcare at your doorstep and opportunities. Bharat's thriving healthcare ecosystem, a landscape of opportunities, the hospital industry in Bharat, accounting for 80% of the total healthcare market, is witnessing a huge investor demand from both global as well as domestic investors. In 2020, Bharat's medical tourism market was estimated to be worth $5 to $6 billion and is expected to grow to 13 billion by 2026. The diagnostic industry in Bharat is currently valued at $4 billion. The share of the organized sector is almost 25% in this segment, 15% in labs, and 10% in radiology. Besides this, the hospital industry in Bharat, accounting for 80% of the total healthcare market, is besides this 156,000 Ayushman Bharat centers, which aim at providing primary healthcare services to communities closer to their homes, are operational in Bharat. More than 390 million Aadhaar numbers generated under the Ayushman Bharat digital mission. And lastly, Bharat is a preferred destination for medical value travel, where patients from all over the globe come to heal in Bharat, and is growing as huge opportunity area in healthcare market. Is home healthcare the next best things on the Bharatiya healthcare scene? The doctor-patient ratio in this country is 1:1674, much below WHO prescribed ratio of 1:1000. It spends about 1% of the GDP in healthcare, that is half that of China. Its healthcare spend is 1/8 of developed nations such as Britain, and globally, home healthcare segment is 3 to 6% of the total healthcare market. So this is a nascent market that has just one way to go, and that is up. In home healthcare, the next best thing, peace of mind at your doorstep. Home healthcare, an affordable option instead of hospitals. With 70% of Bharat population living in rural areas, mobile clinics are increasingly seen as a practical remedy for unequal healthcare access challenges. Government initiative like Ayushman Bharat Health Account offers several digital health services, including e-Sanjeevani, a telemedicine services that connects patient to doctors and medical specialists through their smartphones. Bharat's home healthcare market was valued at $179 million in 2022 and is estimated to expand at a CAGR of 6.4% from 2020 to 2030 and will reach $295 million in 2030. Then what is driving this growth? A spike in the number of nuclear families at all Bharat level. 50% of the 318 million households were nuclear in 2022, up from 37% in 2008. Second is rising incomes, 5x increase in earning over rupees 5 lakhs in driving Bharat consumption surge. Higher incidence of diseases, about 1.2 billion people are vulnerable of falling sick due to communicable diseases in India. And lastly, hospitalizations coupled with an appetite for personalized medical attention. The healthcare industry, we are not just providers of care, we are sowers of seeds of hope. The societal impact and the difference we can make through our work are immeasurable. Let these deeds inspire you to be change makers in your own capacity, for in each of us lies the power to heal and transforms lives. Thank you. Thank you. And now the floor is open for question and answer session. Please give your name and the place from you belong. Thank you. Yeah, please raise hand if you want to ask any question. Yeah, yes.
Hello. Hi.
Okay, yeah.
Hello and namaste and wonderful presentation from all of you. My name is Kunal Jain. I'm into healthcare in US for last 20 years, and we manage medical centers there. One of the biggest challenge we find whenever we look at India as a market, we are experiencing a lot of growth, which we saw at the numbers. But we also read not only on Google, but with different databases, that there is a growth in medical negligence, malpractice cases. And I just saw some numbers on Google. In year 2020, it was 0.05%, which is like every 1,000, 5 people were dying. And now it is 7.5 people dying out of every 1,000 cases. Mostly are in surgeries or drug-related cases. What are the things going on at a government level or at a compliance level or from the industry to stop this?
Now, I think it is a more regulated business nowadays, so you won't find such problems here, which you used to face in earlier days. But what I feel is, in most of the sector, now regulations are there. In IVF sector also, where we are working, now, recently the government has regulated the sector, so we hope that gradually and gradually it will come down.
I just this.
नमस्कार, मैं गिरीश मलिक, लखनऊ, भारत से. मेरा क्वेश्चन डॉक्टर श्री मधुसूदन चौहान से है और सर का नाम, अच्छा, डॉक्टर विश्वप्रसाद, श्री प्रसाद अल्वा. पहले अल्वा जी से एक छोटा सा सवाल है. सर, जो आपने सर्टिफिकेशन की बात करी, तो जैसे कि हम लोग यहाँ पे सर्टिफिकेशन, हम लोग कहीं भी बाहर जाते हैं यूएसएफडीए, हम लोग यहाँ इंडिया में यूएसएफडीए मांग रहे हैं इक्विपमेंट्स के लिए, और हम यूएस जाते हैं तो हमारे जो हमारे सर्टिफिकेशन है वो मानते नहीं हैं. तो क्या हमारी इंडस्ट्री कैसे ग्रो करेगी सर विदाउट सर्टिफिकेशंस? हमें अपने सर्टिफिकेशंस को यस तो करना चाहिए कि हम भी अच्छी चीज़ बना रहे हैं.
The answer to this is that Indian regulatory has not evolved to the extent that of US and Europe. So we had to adopt FDA and CE mark, and it is only after this government came to power that they started looking at regulatory. If you have to invent, so what, to give you an example, ISI mark, Bureau of Indian Standards, their specifications have not been altered since 1964. So you are not able to use BIS standards to ensure safety of patient. We have to first make sure of patient safety than the industry, growth of the industry. So the government has adopted, and lot of Indian buyers insist that the product should have US FDA or CE mark. Over a period of time, now the government has created CDSCO. They have also empowered AERB, Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, and BIS has been put on training. I think in the next 3 to 4 years, we will bring out a standard which is equivalent to the best in the world. And healthcare is not customized to a very large extent for countries. There is a basic platform and little modification are there. I think on that end, the government has taken the right step, but whether we are fast enough to do that, in my particular view, personal view, I think there should have been a separate ministry. But since all the ministries are clubbed under one person, there is not much time for the secretaries or for the minister to do it.
Well, I am Gaurang Misra from Nepal. I am practicing as a physician there. My one question from Shri Madhusudhan Chauhan ji. One of my professor in Darbhanga, Mohan Mishra, he had a small scale experience on a Brahmi, that is one of the Ayurvedic medicine, which was found effective in small scale study in all cause of dementia. We tried to expand it, and one of my friend, or my senior rather, who is in UK, he contacted the RCP, the Royal College of Physicians, and they just said, give us the safety profile of that medicine, what was done in India, and we can conduct the study. We couldn't find any study about the safety profile of that Brahmi, which was produced by the Himalaya. We contacted the company, and we couldn't get any randomized trial. So why we are not going to, in that effect, to do a randomized trial for the safety profile event, so that we can also practice, expand those experiences in our clinical practice? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Am I audible? Am I audible? Okay. So I think it's an interesting question and a very fundamentally underlying factor for both the growth and the safety and efficacy of the medication. And I'll answer it in two parts. The short-term answer to your question is that yes, there has been a lack of investment in research in the sector. And that's a chronic problem. It's a problem of the last 70, 80, 100 years. What typically say the Chinese traditional medicine framework backed by the government started doing in the mid-50s, we've only started doing now, say for the last 10 years, 20 years. So we have some catching up to do on that part of creating relevant evidences, creating relevant research profiles. That's one part of the answer. However, having said that, if you take a look at the Ayush portal that the government has done, setting up of the National Institute, setting up of All India Institute, which specifically focuses on research and postdoctoral and PhD studies, these are all steps in that direction. So that's the short-term answer. The slightly more, not philosophy, but fundamental framework-based answer is that this RCT-based randomized clinical trial model in itself is a very modern medicine framework where everything is broken down into a reductionist system of a molecule and a single targeted therapy framework, which is not necessarily the case with Ayurveda always. Ayurveda is looking at a root cause based line of treatment approach where the root cause, how do we address that? And wherein the framework for, say, practice-based evidence or evidence-based practice find more relevancy, and that's gaining more and more voice and traction all across the world. So yes, it is a valid concern, and I think there is no one answer to it. We'll need to sort of tread both the tracks at the same time.
Namaste, I am Hemendra Gupta from Delhi, Bharat. My question is to Shri Madhusudhan Chauhan ji. Actually, it is coming from that we have gifted yoga to the world without any cost, without any IPR money to be charged. Likely, we have a product like of Ayurveda, wherein we have tested medicines, tested way of life so that we can have a healthy life, as Madhusudhan ji has given in his presentation. My question is that, coming more from his question, that clinical research facilities needs to be improved for so many medicines which are tested over centuries and cured the human beings for perfectly. So question number one is how we are moving on that direction for developing clinical trial research studies for our Ayurveda medicines so that the world will accept them. In India, we are accepting them. We have Trifalas, we have Chyawanprashas, but the world is not expecting that. To grow that market, we have to go for clinical. Number two,
sorry to interrupt. Just limit to one question. There are so many people asking for it.
Thank you. Sorry. That is same for yoga also, sir, because we have to adapt it in our life for better advantage.
Sure. So on the Ayurveda and clinical trial side, like I mentioned, there is a lot of work happening now. The Indian pharmacopoeia of medicines and plants is already established, published, and while obviously it's accepted in India, it is being adopted by many different countries across the world. So the Indian pharmacopoeia as a standard of one, the herb, and two, the processing of the herbs and creation of the formulations as per the Shastriya methods is already established and being adopted by many countries. So that's one. Two, I just mentioned another thing as part of my presentation, couldn't talk about it, is now already the Alpha approval for inclusion of Ayurveda terminologies in the ICD-11 traditional medicine framework of WHO has already been passed. It's going to the beta phase. What this will do is, till now, what was not understood across the table. If I'm an Ayurveda enthusiast, I believe in Ayurveda and I accept Ayurveda and believe in Ayurveda, I may understand the Ayurveda terminologies. How does the rest of the world for research, for understanding, for equating what you're trying to do and creating a standardized system of communication and research across the world for Ayurveda? So these ICT, inclusion of Ayurveda framework as part of the ICD-11 is a step in that direction. And these are very, like I said, the traditional Chinese medicine started it in the mid-50s. These are things that take a couple of decades to establish, and we have catching up to do. The learning from this, maybe to the policymakers and the government, is to continue to invest heavily on this side, because we are playing a catching up game as far as on that front right now. Thank you.
I have a question for Dr. Mahato. Nepal is a great place to invest for many Indians, but the political instability there stops them from doing it. Can you please give your opinion on this?
You can find the reason not to do anything. So there is no any hindrance, no any problem with the politics. You know, Nepal is a very unique country where monarchy was there, communist was prime minister. 80% population is Hindus, communist in the ruling power. So there is no any problem. All problems are created by only 14-inch monitors. After 14-inch monitors, you cannot see any big problem in the country. So please come, invest, and do your business there.
Yeah, next.
Namaste. I am Shailesh Trivedi from Mumbai, and my question is to Shri Madhusudhan Chauhan ji. I'll keep it short and pointed. What is the basic difference between Siddha and Ayurveda, and why we still don't see the standardization of doses in Ayurveda? Thank you.
Okay, then. Thank you. I mean, Siddha and Ayurveda are, and Ayurveda has been a very long practiced system, right? And wherever it went, it sort of adapted to the localized availability of herbs or minerals or metals or whatever is locally available there. There may be some minor nuances to it, but for a layperson understanding, from a framework point of view, they are similar sciences which are being applied differently. Ayurveda may be applied with different sort of sets of herbs, and Siddha may have qualified using certain specific, rasa shastras, rasa medicines, rasa aushadhi, more compared to what a normal practitioners would use. Application may be a difference. Fundamental philosophies are pretty much similar. The second question was with respect to, I'm sorry?
Don't we see standardization? Like
dosage standardization.
Yeah.
Again, as part of the pharmacopoeia, like I had mentioned, they have prescribed standardized dosages, both for manufacturing, quality control, as well as practice of it. The government has also come up with some document called standard practice protocols for certain diseases. So how do you diagnose a disease? Then what is the preferred drugs that you can use, medicines that you can use, and their recommended dosages. However, Ayurveda does not work on the same framework of a single drug of choice that the modern medicine has. So somebody's got thyroid, you give them Thyronorm. Somebody's got diabetes, you give them metformin. Somebody's got joint inflammation, you give them an anti-inflammatory. It does not work like that. The prescription of the doctor, the drug that the doctor, physician, Vaidya chooses will be dependent on your unique understanding of the disease manifestation, your prakriti, your vikriti, and so on and so forth. Also the dosages may change. So thereby, while there is work being done to create a standardized framework around it, however, I feel that it also needs to take into account the uniqueness of Ayurveda and not go to an extent where we wind force-fitting Ayurveda and allopathizing Ayurveda to an extent where it loses its uniqueness. Thank you.
All right, yes. Dr. Anil Asthana from Melbourne, Australia here. Namaste all, thank you for your lovely talks. It's regarding the wellness industry, so I think by default goes to Madhusudhanji and others. Number one, what I find is in your pie chart was very apt in that the developed countries do not refer to Ayurveda in their mainstream academia, nor promotion, in its promotion, and the Bharatiya government's done a lot for that. I think with all due respect, with the research aspect, a lot of times we blow the trumpet. I'm a big believer of Ayurveda myself, but we blow the trumpet that look at the amount of research, but the actual impact factor of the journal, the quality of the research, is not in a way where people will accept it as to be high quality. Number two, strategic alliances. Have you looked into reaching out to integrative societies in the UK, Australia, US to collaborate on joint education programs? Because they have a lot of leverage in their countries, and as an investor myself, we often are at wit's end on not knowing, we've got the money, where do you put it? We don't have access or an ecosystem.
What exactly is the question?
Gentlemen,
what is the question?
I think
please
he's understood
limit your
the question.
question.
No, he's understood the question.
Quickly to answer, I think if I have understood it correctly, the question, and I'll try to be brief on my answer, is we sometimes also make the mistake of looking at Ayurveda as a single sector. Please understand Ayurveda is a super sector. It entails everything from taking haldi and salt in your doodh in the night, if you have a sore throat, taking some home remedy, write to somebody saying if you've got a 4th stage cancer with metastasis, you come to me and I will cure you. Right? That entire spectrum of Ayurveda of offering, we sort of club it into one single word of Ayurveda, and there are shades to it. So one, let us understand that which sector of Ayurveda are we speaking of? Are we speaking of public health? Are we speaking of preventive care? Are we speaking of wellness? Are we speaking of curative Ayurveda? And thereby we are able to then talk more specifically of the sector that we are speaking of. 1. 2. On education, I think the lack is not just outside Bharat, even within Bharat. Nobody teaches in our own textbooks to our own students what Ayurveda is and how to apply Ayurveda as part of our daily lives. We run a school, a 2,000 strong school, student school, where we teach every child what your Prakriti as per Ayurveda is. If you have Pitta Prakriti, what you should eat, what you should avoid, how you should live a preventative healthcare. I grew up understanding healthcare as a red cross like this and a first aid box in my school. If you have a headache, you run to this tablet immediately. We were never given the Ayurveda framework of healthcare in our own schools. So I think there's a lot of work to be done. The good thing is there is a positive sentiment from the consumer side. There is a positive sentiment of the government supporting it beyond what the usual government support is. And the age and the time for Ayurveda has come. On the research front, I again am telling, research is not something you can curate over a very short period of time. It is a sustained thing that happens over a long period of time. To put out one drug molecule in modern medicine pharmaceutical, it takes an investment of anywhere between 2 to 5 to 6 billion US dollars. You compare that with the budgets that we've parked for Ayush and Ayurveda in the country today, and we will understand the gap that we need to fill on the research front. And it needs to happen very, very rapidly. Because again, I'll say we are playing catching up here.
मेरा नाम दीपक सिंघल है और मैं यूपी में भारत का एक बड़े अच्छे जो भाग है उसका चीफ सेक्रेटरी रह चुका हूँ। एज ए ब्यूरोक्रेट मैं अपनी बात को आपके सामने रख रहा हूँ। और मेरे ख्याल से इस देश के जितने भी आयुर्वेदिक एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, चाहे कोयम्बटूर के हैं, चाहे कोटा के हैं, अभी मैं नैरोबी केन्या गया था, एक्स प्राइम मिनिस्टर ओडिंगा रेला, उनकी बेटी के कैसे आंखें चली गई और लौट के आयुर्वेदा से वापस आ गए। मैं खुद देख के आया हूँ, 75 कंट्रीज़ देख के और सारे लोगों से बात करके। मैं 3 पॉलिसी डिसीजंस के लिए आपसे रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ कि एज ए ब्यूरोक्रेट कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि हम भारतीय चिकित्सा पद्धति की बातें बहुत करते हैं। मैं नोएडा में रहता हूँ, अगर एक आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर ढूंढने निकलूँगा मिलेगा नहीं। पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में मैं 22 करोड़ जनता में अगर 10 आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर कहूँगा कि इलाज करते तो कोई नहीं मिलेगा। तो मैं सिर्फ आपसे कहता हूँ कि हम बातें कम करें, पॉलिसी डिसीजंस की ओर अगर थोड़ा सा संकल्प लें तो शायद बेहतर होगा। पहला तो ये है कि हम अपनी शिक्षा व्यवस्था में जो एलोपैथिक चिकित्सा में कंपलसरी करेंगे 6 महीने आपको आयुर्वेदिक पढ़ाया ही जाएगा। आप रिजॉल्व क्यों नहीं करते हैं, आवाज़ क्यों नहीं उठाते हैं कि इस बार में चाइना पढ़ा सकता है, भारत क्यों नहीं पढ़ा सकता है। हमारा बैचमेट कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी, हमने कई बार उससे भी कहा भाई इस बात पे आपको लड़ाई लड़नी है। अब ये
excuse me, what is your question basically? Please.
Question is only 2, 3. One is please resolve some things which is a deliverable. That is, आपकी in education you should have integrated education system. Treatment, this Ayush word should be supplemented by one more word called double Ayush. It is allopathic and Ayush combined. Once you have Ayush, double Ayush resolution, then people will be benefited much more. Thirdly, the think tanks available in the country, जो भी आपके available हैं इस field के masters हैं, उनके साथ एक integrated सोच, मैंने अभी डायरेक्टर एम्स और जो लोग विद्वान लोग हैं, चाहे ICMR हैं, सब लोग बैठ के इसकी एक रोड मैप तय करें। बस यही मेरा 3 उसका विषय है जो मैं रखना चाहता हूँ।
And this will be communicated to the government, your all these 3 demands. And we hope that they will consider.
Hello all. I'm Vishnu Anirudh. I work in the field of AI in the UK. My question is for Shri Vishwaprasad Alva. Hello, sir. My question is on surgical robotics. Would you know what is Bharat's standing in terms of being a manufacturing hub for surgical robotics? And would you know how far we are away, or what are the challenges in being the top manufacturing hub? Thank you.
I wanted to even talk about the errors in judgment. The earlier question with the technology solution. So one way is to train the doctors, the other one is to use technology so that doctors do not make mistakes. And it is not 0.05, it is in the order of 20 to 30% of the patients would have survived if they had got the best treatment anywhere else in the world. Now you can take robotic surgery is one very clear example. When it came, the machine was costing about 10 crores. Da Vinci surgical robo was 10 crores. And people used it for precision surgeries in oncology. But today, the same surgical robo can be made in about 25 lakhs and can be deployed in rural areas where they can be much more precise than human surgeries. There are several such technologies. In India, robotic arm manufacturers are very few. There are about 6 or 7 robotic surgery R&D companies and startups that have come who have not scaled to the level. We are right now adopting arms from another company and then developing a surgical device around that. But that's one of the areas where a lot of startups can come and succeed in this sector.
हेलो हेलो मेरा प्रश्न डॉक्टर अजय सर से है. डॉक्टर अजय सर, चूँकि वर्ल्ड हिंदू इकोनॉमिक फोरम में भारत के बाहर के बहुत लोग आए हुए हैं, IVF पे आप काम कर रहे हैं पूरे देश में, भारत में. हमारा प्रश्न है, क्या भारत के बाहर नेपाल, बांग्लादेश, बैंकॉक, आसपास के और भी कंट्री के लिए IVF पे मेल और फीमेल, जब हम उसको कंट्री बाय कंट्री देखते हैं, रूल्स में देखते हैं, तो क्या आपको क्या नई समस्या आती है, और भारत के बाहर भी क्या आपकी योजना है? इससे कैसे हम भारतीय पद्धति और भारतीय एथिक को सामने रखते, कैसे आपको लगता है?
मैंने 2011 में जब शुरू किया था ये IVF बिजनेस, तो आई वाज द, मेरे ख्याल से मैं सबसे लास्ट में था IVF में. लोग बाग 25 साल से 30 साल से काम कर रहे थे. पर बेसिकली कोई बाहर से भी आया या यहाँ पे भी है, तो मैं बताना चाहूँगा 3-4 चीज़ें हैं जिसको अगर अडॉप्ट करते हैं तो दे विल बी मोर सक्सेसफुल इन इंडिया, सॉरी इन भारत. सबसे पहले तो है, आपका कोई भी प्रोसीजर हो, कोई भी चीज़ हो, कोई भी प्रोडक्ट हो, इट शुड बी अफोर्डेबल. इट्स अफोर्डेबिलिटी इज मस्ट इन इंडिया. सेकेंड जो पॉइंट है वो है अवेयरनेस का. यहाँ अवेयरनेस की इंडिया में बहुत कमी है, लोग नहीं जानते हैं कि क्या है. सो सेकेंड स्ट्रेस वॉज ऑन अवेयरनेस, एंड फॉर देट मेरे को लोग कहते थे कि तुम्हारे पास पेशेंट कौन भेजेंगे जब तक कमीशन नहीं दोगे. तो मैंने एक डिफरेंट अप्रोच लिया और मैंने कहा मैं पेशेंट को इतना एजुकेट कर दूंगा कि वो मेरे पास खुद आए. तो मैंने लगभग इंडिया में 2500 कैंप्स 22 से ज़्यादा स्टेट्स में और 800 से ज़्यादा सिटीज़ में हम लोगों ने किए, और इस तरह हम लोगों ने अवेयरनेस बढ़ाई. थर्ड इम्पॉर्टेंट है, when you want to settle in India or you want to come and do business in India, is the accessibility. कि हर आदमी आपके पास नहीं आएगा, आपको उसके पास जाना पड़ेगा. So for that we have started, till now we have 120 centers all across India and we are present in 80 cities. तो awareness बहुत must है, accessibility बहुत must है और affordability must है. और चौथा जो point है वो जो मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा कि that is accuracy. You should be very accurate. So we are doing approximately 40,000 cycles a year with the success rate of 75%. So you should take care of success. And till now, इंदिरा IVF ने अब तक 1,40,000 के लगभग सक्सेसफुल IVF केसेस कर दिए, which is also a world record.
Hello, sir. My name is Hemant Desai. I live in Bangkok.
Yeah.
I'm a heart patient. I had gone through balloon therapy in Bangkok also. And another time I had to go to Bombay, so I did from Mumbai also. I'm talking about medical tourism that we are trying to promote. Post-surgery care. The things that I went through after surgery in Bangkok were excellent and par excellence.
But after my surgery in India, which was very, very well handled and very, very, I would say, the best of the best doctors I had. But after surgery, मेरी तो जान ही निकल गई.
क्यों क्या हो गया?
I think almost 10 बार आ गई क्योंकि पोस्ट सर्जरी जो मेरा ध्यान रख रहा था, मेरे ख्याल से उसने मेरी स्टेंट ही निकाल दी वापस. So how much investment have we done in this area, post-surgery care, and how much research and development is going in that area?
Take this question. This is something to do with the infrastructure and training. It is the case with most of the hospitals here. Post-surgery, there is a very deep involvement of paramedic and other staff. There is no policy matter as such that can help post-surgery to be better. But there are technologies where people can be taken home. Home care was one of the subjects that somebody spoke, that hospitals in the future will be only for surgery and for ICU, and post-surgery will all be taken care at home. There are connected devices and technologies that are coming up that can make it foolproof, like many other sectors.
I just want to add something, because I have been traveling in many countries of the world. Maybe 2/3 of the world I have already traveled. And I have seen many developed countries' services also. So when we are talking about our own countries, we always talking only unsuccess things. No, not very good success things. So, I can very proudly to say that only in Hindu Dharma, in Bharat, in Nepal, people has in heart, Atuthi Devo Bhava. We are very pleased, honored to serve others. Other people are being enjoyed by taking service from us. So post-surgery services, other services, we are giving much better than many other countries. So we should praise all these things also. And in medical sector, there is a huge potential in developing countries like our countries, where there are very huge gaps for the population and giving the services, which infrastructures, technology which we are using. For the manpower, for other things, we have the big potentiality, big opportunity. So please come, make investment, work there. And I am very happy to listen one of our doctor told that he is taking care more than 20 years in USA. Please come to India and Nepal. You will have the better chance to serve here. Thank you.
Namaste. This question is for the Vishwaprasad sir. My name is Srinivas in Washington, D.C. Sir, you said in your presentation there is 8 countries are producing and the rest of the 190 countries are using the products. What is your recommendation, 9th country, which is Bharat?
Pardon?
What is your recommendation, what is your suggestions if Bharat is going to be the 9th country?
No, Bharat is one of the 8 countries that I spoke about. We are a young country in medtech as such. So there are a lot of MNCs that are working, GE, Siemens, Philips, Baxter, all of them have R&D centers. But for homegrown companies which want to invest in core technologies, there is a lot of opportunity. One is that there is a availability of engineers, then the ecosystem that is there for clinical research, which is a very expensive part of medical equipment device, is easier in India. Another thing that I touched upon was verification, validation, reliability engineering. In a product development cycle, if you are spending, let's say, 25 crores to develop a product, about 20 crores is coming from testing and reliability studies, which India is almost 80% lower. I would suggest that if there are courses that are combined courses where they come out with a degree with the product that would make a big difference in startups?
So we are already late now. This last question
We have just two more questions.
Two more questions?
Yeah.
Okay, two more questions.
Namaste, Hare Krishna. My name is Patridas. I am basically from Ukraine, but I am in India now and serving in Nepal. So I have one question. Since I am dealing with mostly young generation, with youth since 2002 in Nepal, and Nepal told us the never-ending peace and love, Nepal. And here we have Bharat, Daju Bhai, brother, and it is a Hindu conference. I am dealing with youth which is struggling now with depression and mental disorders. In fact, 5 years ago, it was approximately 6,840 suicide cases in Nepal, and during the COVID time, and it increased just double. It's very grave situation. So I was thinking, and since government giving very less support for this mental disorders treatment, how to establish this connection and awareness between Big Brother Bharat and Nepal to make this really communication? What other opportunities are there? It's really great support required because youth is our future. That's what my humble request. Any suggestions how to establish support? Not much, but at least a little bit. Baap ka beta sipai ka ghoda kuch nahi to thoda thoda. It's my humble.
No, I think mental health, specifically after COVID, is a point of concern everywhere. So depression, anxiety, even loneliness, fear, all of that, OCD, we've seen in our practice as well. A lot of these cases are coming up. And this is where, you come from the tradition, yoga, Ayurveda, seamlessly integrated to the mainstream care of health, can provide a very strong potential solution to this problem. And when I was speaking, I had mentioned this, that Bharat has all three ingredients available. We just need to put them and make a great dish out of it. We've got great strength in modern medicine, in diagnostics, in the med tech, in the clinical care, in the surgical care, the quality of manpower, the digital health and technology infrastructure and the capability of Bharat, we are already aware of what we are capable of doing, and the existence of this very strong, evolving traditional medicine knowledge systems. If the three can combine together to look at the patient and not the disease, like the gentleman mentioned, they will look at him as a case of putting the stent. And why the problem in the heart came, what is causing the blockage. The cardiac does not speak to the gastro does not speak to the, the psychologist would not speak to the renal doctor. Everybody in the super specialization, in the race to, sort of break down and understood the parts, we've missed the sum. We've missed the whole. And that from a philosophy in the healthcare sector is what Ayurveda and yoga can come in and contribute. This is what is causing the mental health issues. These people are not lacking anything in their physical environments or their physical availabilities. It's just that they need to combine together. At Jiva, we run a holistic program like this. Along with the medicines, we've got an entire separate team that specializes in yoga, one team that specializes in nutrition, one team that specializes in mental and emotional health and well-being. These are based out of the Ayurvedic principles of Dev Vipashya Chikitsa and Sattva Vajay Chikitsa, but termed more easily understood manner like that. And when a patient at Jiva is treated, he's not just treated medically with Ayurvedic medicines only. This ahar, vihar, vyavhar and vichar. So medicine, diet, lifestyle and thought, all of this has to combine together to create a more long-lasting effect. And I feel Ayurveda is naturally poised to do it.
This is a closing question for this session, please.
Good afternoon. So this is a question for Dr. Upendra Mahato. So this is Vinod Himatsinghani. I'm from Dallas, Texas. We've got a clinical decision support system, and we're implementing it in certain parts of US. But if we have to do this in a place like Nepal, they would need some basic digital infrastructure to really get it done, like electronic health records. Is there any system that you're capturing information, health records being set up there in the hospitals or nationally?
Yes, we do. Because in Nepal, electronic health record system is regularized, and we have to keep it very confidentially, strictly. So please come. We have everything in international standard regulations. Only we need something to push it with a big investment. So please come, welcome.
Thank you, speakers. It's a very lively session. We have some important announcement to make. Mr. Srinivas will make right now.
Thank you all. This is about the networking. A lot of questions are being asked. So after the post-lunch first session, at the end of it, I'll explain how networking will happen. Long story short, this is the room which we will use for networking, because otherwise other rooms which we arrange will take too much time to travel. So please attend the next session, and the session after that is the networking. So at the end of the next session, I will explain it. I think for now, we are good. Thank you.
So we will reassemble here at 2 o'clock sharp for the next session. So let's enjoy the lunch at Hall 4. Thank you so much. It's a lively session.
Thank you very much.